How's it going, everyone? Chris here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to assemble this Mega Heracross Pokéball after you're done printing. So let's get to it.
Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do here for this build is we're actually going to glue the two bottom halves together. So we're going to take some glue here, put a little bit of glue on these flat parts here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And we're just going to push these two halves together. Now, when you push these together, you can put them on a flat surface and line them up, or you can use the two arms here and click the arms on, making sure that they're flush, and this is just going to make sure that both halves are lined up. So with that, I'm going to let both halves here dry together, and again, I'm making sure that both of these arms have everything nice and flush. And with that, I'm just going to let this dry, and when this is done, we're going to take the arms off, and then we're going to continue our build.
All right, so with this now assembled, I took the arms off because we'll put that on after. And now I'm going to take my clicker core here with the lock, and I'm going to stick my clicker into position. Now, if you are not using the clicker version of this, you'll just have the one with the stem sticking out, and that's fine. So then what we're going to do is we are going to take our clicker core, and we're going to put that into the top and twist it into position, and it's now locked. Then we're going to take this red piece here, and if you look at the red piece, there's a spot with like indents here, and then there's a perfectly flat side. The perfectly flat side is going to be the bottom, so we're going to take the side with the indent and face it towards the top. And now we're going to put it on sideways and twist it forward. Then we're going to take our black center ring and push that on top. Then we're going to take our bottom half, put that on, and then we're going to twist and lock that into position. Cool. And now that's locked. So now we're going to move on to the next piece. All right, so next we're going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to drop it in this top area up here. So it's kind of, you can kind of see the wet area up there. And then we're going to take this little red piece here, and I want to have the side that was printed on the bed into the Pokeball. So I'm going to push this in, and I want to make sure that that sits nicely with all of the other red pieces slid underneath it. So you're going to have to move the red around here, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, cool. So when it's done, you're going to want the red ring up top to be sitting on top of this red ring here in the middle. So if that's not on top, it's not going to be in the right position. So just make sure everything is nice and lined up. All right, so now we can take our clicker stem, but if you're already using a center lock that doesn't have the clicker, then you don't need to do this part. But I'm going to take this, slide it into position here. Then I'm going to take my white button, put it on the stem. And then I'm going to take my black ring here, and again, pay attention to that stem where that little like lock that's sticking out there. And you're going to find the channel on the left or right side, depending on which orientation you put it in. So mine is on this side. So I'm going to drop that in, and then I'm just going to click it into position. And now that it's in, I have my button. All right, so next we're going to take a little bit of glue here, and I'm going to put some glue just kind of like all around this middle area here. And I'm going to take one of these red rings, and I'm going to push that red ring in and make sure it sits nice and flat and flush. Then I'm going to take one of our arms and make sure when you put this in that this square here on top is facing forward, not backwards. So this here is wrong. So I'm going to take this, and this is going to be right, because as I push this in, that square is going to be facing forward, because that's where these big pieces of the arms are going to connect. So I'll just push that on, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going to put some glue all around. I'm going to put my red ring in. Again, just push it in and make sure it's nice and flush. And if it's not going in right, just spin it around until it lines up. Then you're going to take your other arm and push that into position. Cool. And now with that in, we'll move on to the next pieces. All right, so next, let's just go ahead and take this red piece that goes on top, put a little glue on the flat area, and we'll just stick this into the head, and that should just fall right in. All right, so next we're gonna build our hands here. So I already have one built. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our hand and we're gonna put in these claws. And they're just gonna sit in. We don't need to glue the claws necessarily, but if you want to, go ahead. And now with these here, you wanna twist the claws so that way all of the points and curves are facing into the middle. Then we're gonna take a little bit of glue and we're gonna drop it on the outside areas here. So just like a dot each in these outside areas. And then we're gonna take this red ring here. And you're gonna line this red ring up and drop it on. And now if it doesn't lay perfectly flat like mine, just lift it up and twist it until you find the orientation that perfectly lines it up. So for me, it happens to be this one right here. So now everything is laying nice and flat. And again, just check your claws, make sure everything's lined up in the middle. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take another dot of glue now on each of these open areas on the red here. And we're gonna do the same thing with this blue ring now, is we're just gonna drop it on and just go around until you get it to line up perfectly flat. So this one's a little bit off. So I'm just gonna lift this back up and I'm just gonna twist it again just to make sure I get it perfect. And there it is, right here. So now I have both of my hands made. So next we're gonna go ahead and put them onto the body. All right, so before you put the arms on, just wanna point out here that with these arms, you see how they're kind of curved into the middle, angling in? This is how you want them to look. Just to show you what it would look like if they're wrong and you put them on the wrong side. So you can put them on the wrong side. And if they're on the wrong side, look how these arms now are kind of more up and they're not facing into the body. So before you commit with glue, make sure that you're putting these on in the right way. And to know that you've done it in the right way, we're just gonna make sure that these arms are facing diagonally in towards the body. All right, so next we're gonna take our body here, and these square holes on the hands, or I guess the elbows, are gonna line up with the square pegs on the back of the hands here. So just line that up and go ahead and push it in. Now, if you want, go ahead and use some glue here. You don't have to if you're using it for your own display, but if you're gonna be shipping these things around, you definitely wanna use some glue. So we'll go ahead and push this into the other arm. And now we have assembled our arms. So the last thing we're gonna have to do now is take our antennas, put those in, and our build will be done. All right, so for our antenna, we have these two pieces here already connected. And what you're gonna do is just take a little bit of glue on the back of this circle here and take a matching back half here and just line it up. And when you put it on, you want to make sure, like, see, like this is wrong. You see how it kind of makes like a heart shape? That's wrong. So we want to make sure that we just take that piece and rotate it. So I'm going to put it on in the right direction here. Rotate it so that way when it lines up, it's going to make the proper shape. So here we go. It should look something like this. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the other one, and then we'll put them in. All right, so now the last thing to do is to put our antenna in. So we're gonna take our antenna, and we're gonna put them and line them up into the red cutouts here on top. So I'm gonna stick this in here, and that's gonna go in. And when you put it in, you wanna make sure, so you see how this antenna is kind of like facing up right here? That's the direction we wanna go for. So if you have them backwards, it's just gonna be in the wrong orientation. So now I'm gonna take the last one here, and I'm gonna slide this in. And now I have a fully assembled Mega Heracross Pokéball. So that completes our Mega Heracross build. This Pokeball was a lot of fun to make and it looks pretty cool too. If If you guys have any questions during the building process or after, feel free to leave them down below in Patreon or in Discord, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. And as always, guys, happy printing.